And they launched it. It's bigger than any film premiere that I've ever been to. I mean, thousands of people.
She's fearsomely bright. She is searingly bright, Janet, and a great talent.
Charles Dance commands the screen with ice in his veins. As Tywin Lannister, he made cruelty an art form. Cold eyes, measured words, every gesture calculated for maximum impact.
It'll be my last war. Win or lose.
But behind the villain lies a craftsman shaped by giants. Dance cut his teeth with the Royal Shakespeare Company in the 1970s. He learned his trade alongside legends. Laurence Olivier showed him how classical training conquers cinema. Ian McKellen taught him that Shakespeare and screen acting aren't enemies. They're allies. The films Dance loves reveal the actor he became.
I think the challenge we have as actors is with a very small c.
Gothic romance, wartime Shakespeare, psychological thrillers, each one a masterclass in authority and menace. These aren't just movies he admires. They're blueprints he followed, lessons he absorbed, templates he refined across 5 decades. 10 films shaped the man behind the patriarch. 10 films that taught him power came from stillness. That silence speaks louder than shouting. Those great villains believe they're heroes. This is Charles Dance's cinematic education. 10. Wuthering Heights, 1939. William Wyler's Gothic masterpiece haunts the Yorkshire moors. Laurence Olivier plays Heathcliff opposite Merle Oberon's Cathy. Love curdles into obsession. Passion becomes revenge. The windswept landscape mirrors tortured souls. Greg Toland's black and white cinematography turns fog into feeling. Every frame drips with romantic doom.
Did Joseph see which way you came?
What does it matter? Nothing's real down there.
Olivier transforms from stable boy to gentleman consumed by hatred. His Heathcliff burns with controlled fury. The performance crackles beneath the surface. Dance studied this restraint, the way Olivier holds violence in his body, how stillness creates more menace than movement. Heathcliff's cold calculation would echo decades later in Tywin Lannister.
One, he's an extremely talented actor. He's a very bright guy.
The lesson stayed with Dance forever. Power comes from what you don't show. Gothic atmosphere seeps into every period drama Dance inhabits. The weight of silence, the threat in a glance. Olivier proved theatrical training translates to screen magic. He made classical technique feel dangerous, urgent, alive. Dance applied this to every aristocratic villain he played. The brooding intensity, the sense that eruption waits beneath courtesy. Wuthering Heights taught him that romance and menace share the same face. 9. Henry V, 1944. Laurence Olivier directs and stars in Shakespeare's Warrior King. Wartime Britain needed heroes. Olivier delivered.
Heaven hath made a match with such a wrangler that all the courts of France will be disturbed with chases.
The film opens on a stage, the Globe Theatre, in full Elizabethan glory. Slowly, subtly, we transition from theatrical artifice to technicolor reality. The Battle of Agincourt explodes across the screen. Olivier proves stagecraft enhances cinema. It doesn't limit it. The St. Crispin's Day speech remains the gold standard for verse delivery.
The end result was actually a really, really good film that didn't get much of a...
Olivier makes iambic pentameter sound like natural speech. Every word lands with purpose. Dance absorbed this deeply. His Royal Shakespeare Company training echoes throughout his career. Henry V showed him classical actors belong in cinema. They don't need to apologize for their craft. The film inspired Dance's own directorial ambitions. Years later, he'd make Ladies in Lavender, following Olivier's model, respecting literary source material, trusting audiences with intelligence. Dance played similar Shakespearean kings on stage throughout the 1970s and 80s. He understands language as a weapon, how rhetoric shapes reality. 8. Rebecca, 1940. Alfred Hitchcock's first American triumph drips with psychological dread.
I've been stupid, but every day I realize the things that she had and that I lacked.
Joan Fontaine plays the second Mrs. De Winter. She's haunted by her husband's dead first wife. Laurence Olivier is Maxime de Winter, aristocrat with secrets, damage hidden beneath breeding. The mansion Manderley becomes a character itself. Shadows swallow innocence. Mrs. Danvers glides through hallways like a specter. Judith Anderson creates villainy through devotion. She worships a ghost. Her loyalty becomes monstrous. Dance studied this alchemy, how repression creates unbearable tension. Rebecca herself never appears on screen, yet she dominates every frame. Hitchcock teaches through suggestion, not exposition.
Strange is going on here. We're going to find out a bit more about this character.
The past weighs heavier than any present moment. Dance applied these lessons to Game of Thrones. Tywin's dead wife shapes everything he does. Legacy matters more than love. Family name transcends individual happiness. Rebecca shows how architecture reflects psychology, how grand houses hide rot. Dance used this in every mansion set drama. 7. Hamlet, 1948. Olivier's second directorial masterpiece claims cinema for Shakespeare.
Your business and desire shall point you, for every man hath business and desire, such as it is. And for mine own poor part, look you.
Black and white expressionism replaces technicolor pageantry. The camera becomes Hamlet's troubled mind. Tracking shots through Elsinore's corridors mirror psychological spirals. Olivier won Best Picture and Best Actor. He called it a tragedy of a man who cannot decide. Deep focus photography makes every corner feel significant. Soliloquies become cinematic rather than theatrical. Olivier speaks to be or not to be as internal thought, not staged declamation. The film breathes with doubt and intelligence. Every Royal Shakespeare Company actor measures themselves against this Hamlet.
That attention that obviously will come from her theatrical background.
Dance certainly did. He understands playing complexity, how interior conflict manifests physically. Hamlet influenced Dance's approach to layered antagonists. Tywin Lannister's Mad King speeches echo Olivier's verse delivery. The understanding that intelligence can be threatening, that thinking characters compel more than reactive ones. Olivier teaches stillness and sudden violence, how a man can hold contradictions, be philosophical and brutal simultaneously. Dance absorbed the lesson completely. His career balances thought and action, reflection and menace. Hamlet proved cinema could handle Shakespeare's psychological depth. That film needn't simplify complexity. 6. The Entertainer, 1960. Tony Richardson shatters Olivier's classical image. No Shakespeare here, no costume drama, just Archie Rice.
The Prince of Wales and, what's the name of that other pub? Oh, blimey, that went better the first house.
A washed-up music hall performer grinding through dying variety shows. Post-Suez Crisis, Britain crumbles around him, the empire's finished. So is Archie. Olivier plays pathetic brilliance. He sings, he dances, he dies on stage nightly. Joan Plowright watches her father's slow collapse. The performance astonished everyone. Olivier proved classical actors could inhabit gritty realism. That range matters more than reputation. Dance followed this blueprint exactly. Royal Shakespeare Company credentials leading to film villains. Period pieces giving way to genre work.
That I've had to demonstrate a kind of gentleness.
The Entertainer showed that risk-taking expands what serious actor means. Archie Rice's showmanship masks desperate emptiness. Dance understood this duality, applied it to Last Action Hero's self-aware villainy, used it whenever playing men who perform confidence while drowning. Olivier took the gamble, became modern again, relevant again. Dance learned you can't coast on classical training. You must evolve or fossilize. The Entertainer proved theatrical royalty could play working-class tragedy. That British kitchen sink drama welcomed Shakespeare veterans. The lesson freed Dance's entire career. 5. Spartacus, 1960. Stanley Kubrick's Roman epic showcases power and rebellion. Kirk Douglas leads a slave uprising against the Republic. Laurence Olivier plays Crassus, patrician general with absolute authority.
I'm Spartacus! I'm Spartacus! I'm Spartacus! I'm Spartacus! I'm Spartacus!
The performance uses classical bearing for pure cinema. No theatrical flourishes, just a cold, aristocratic command. Olivier makes Crassus terrifying through stillness, through certainty. The infamous oysters and snails scene reveals his character completely. Appetite disguised as philosophy, domination dressed as preference. Dance studied this portrayal obsessively. Crassus became a template for every Roman general he'd play, every imperial authority figure. Olivier shows how to command epic spectacle while maintaining intimate menace. Kubrick's precision married to theatrical power. The combination proved irresistible. Dance applied these lessons directly. His understanding of how aristocracy expresses itself physically. The posture, the gaze, the economy of movement. Game of Thrones battle scenes echo Spartacus's scale. But Tywin's authority comes straight from Crassus. The certainty of the ruling class. The belief in their own supremacy. Spartacus taught Dance that epic filmmaking respects intelligence. That spectacle needs psychological foundation. That the best villains don't doubt themselves. They simply know they're right. 4. Alien, 1992. David Fincher's directorial debut unfolds on a prison planet. Sigourney Weaver's Ripley crashes among murderers and rapists. Dance plays Dr. Clemens, the prison physician with a hidden past. For once, he's not the villain. He's vulnerable, sympathetic, doomed. The film matters to Dance personally. Working with visionary Fincher proved transformative. They'd collaborate again on Mank decades later. Alien 3 showed Dance's range beyond period villainy. Clemens represents something rare in his filmography: genuine goodness, flawed humanity. The character's tragic arc resonated deeply. His death scene carries weight precisely because we care. Dance proved he could inhabit science fiction convincingly. That genre of work demands equal commitment. Clemens' quiet nobility contrasts everything Dance usually plays. The performance revealed dimensions audiences hadn't seen. Vulnerability he rarely showed. The understanding that good characters die meaningfully. That sacrifice matters. Alien 3 faced troubled production. Studio interference nearly destroyed it, but Dance's performance survived intact. It remains a career highlight. Proof that character actors transcend genre. 3. Gosford Park, 2001. Robert Altman journeys to England for murder mystery perfection. An all-star ensemble gathers at a 1930s manor house. Upstairs and downstairs collide.
Wanted some company?
I suppose life must go on.
Secrets simmer beneath politeness. Dance plays Lord Raymond Stockbridge, aristocratic entitlement personified. The performance balances comedy and menace flawlessly. Altman's improvisational ensemble approach challenged Dance completely. No single star, just interconnected characters revealing class system rot. At age 55, Dance delivered career-defining work. The maturity showed. Understanding of British aristocracy runs bone deep. How they hold forks, how they dismiss servants, the casual cruelty of breeding. Gosford Park became the template for Downton Abbey and every period ensemble afterward. But Altman captures something darker. The murder mystery reveals social murder, a system eating itself. Dance's chemistry with Maggie Smith and Helen Mirren crackles. Theatrical veterans circling each other, finding rhythms, creating reality. The film showed character actors age into greatness. That experience deepens rather than diminishes. Dance's Stockbridge feels lived in, completely authentic. 2. The Godfather, 1972. Francis Ford Coppola redefines American cinema. Marlon Brando's Don Corleone becomes an instant myth, but the film's real power lies in family dynamics.
Someday, and that day may never come, I'll call upon you to do a service for me.
How business and blood intertwine, how legacy consumes children. Vito Corleone builds an empire. Michael inherits a curse. The succession story resonates across cultures, across genres. Every scene crackles with controlled menace. Silence speaks louder than violence. The Godfather taught every actor who plays authority. Dance absorbed it completely. The direct influence on Tywin Lannister is undeniable. Understanding family as kingdom, kingdom as family, how patriarchs communicate through implication, through what they don't say. Tywin's famous line mirrors Corleone philosophy perfectly. A lion doesn't concern himself with the opinions of sheep. That's pure Godfather logic. The family dinners, the succession anxiety, the children who disappoint. Michael's cold evolution into his father prefigures Tywin's own ruthless pragmatism. Both men sacrifice everything for their family name, for legacy. 1. The Third Man, 1949. Carol Reed's noir masterpiece owns the top spot. Post-war Vienna crumbles in shadow and rubble. Joseph Cotten searches for his disappeared friend Harry Lime. The zither score haunts every frame. Expressionist cinematography turns sewers into labyrinths. Then Orson Welles appears. The most famous entrance in cinema history, a cat, a doorway, light hitting a face. Harry Lime smiles, and we understand everything. Welles creates the charming monster, the villain who justifies himself beautifully. The Ferris wheel scene remains perfect. Lime explains his worldview while suspended above Vienna. In Italy for 30 years under the Borgias, they had warfare, terror, murder, bloodshed. They produced Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, and the Renaissance. In Switzerland, they had brotherly love, 500 years of democracy and peace. And what did that produce? The Cuckoo Clock. The speech encapsulates Dance's entire approach to villainy. Great antagonists believe they're right. They articulate philosophy convincingly. Charm becomes their deadliest weapon. Dance applied this template to every major role. Tywin Lannister's worldview echoes Harry Lime directly. Understanding that chaos creates greatness. That sentiment weakens empires. That hard men make hard choices. The Third Man showed Dance how British filmmaking could achieve absolute perfection. How post-war cinema captured moral ambiguity. How shadows reveal character. Every Dance villain channels Harry Lime's smile. That certainty, that dangerous charisma. 10 films shaped Charles Dance's magnificent career, from Olivier's theatrical mastery to Welles's charming menace. Classical training meeting, cinematic innovation, Gothic romance teaching restraint, Shakespeare proving poetry belongs on screen. Each film offered lessons Dance absorbed completely, about power, about silence, about how great villains justify themselves. These movies created the actor who made Tywin Lannister unforgettable, who brought cold authority to countless aristocrats, who proved classical training conquers every genre. Which of these films shaped your understanding of villainy? Subscribe for more deep dives into legendary actors and the films that made them. Hit that notification bell. Join us as we explore cinema's greatest craftsmen.